Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the December Dash Christmas Eve special, as we'll call it, as it'll become known as. Yes, yesterday I decided to cancel the session. Uh, William just needed a break. William just needed a mental break. Had a lot going on yesterday and wasn't actually feeling very well at all physically. And I just needed a break, 100%. So I took it. And the reason I did that is because you guys have so much already. I got to thinking about it, um, that you really didn't need me yesterday. And whatever that was needed yesterday could wait till today and the next day. And it's always important to be consistent and show up, yes. Uh, but you also know that if there are days, as I teach, if there are days where you don't show up, that's okay, right? I'm not saying to make that a habit, though, obviously. And we haven't done that here, and I wouldn't recommend that you do that either. But just something to keep in mind for that. Happy to be back, and now you know that I'm human, as always. And we've got a few things to talk about today. Thanks to the I don't know whether you believe in fate or not, but if you believe in fate, well then thanks to the powers that be. And if you don't believe in fate, well then call it circumstance. Um, but I'm gonna teach you guys a few lessons about how to not become victims of circumstance, and also a lot of what we really do behind the scenes for you guys that I don't show very often, but whenever it's made public, I make sure to share with you, especially when things like this happen. So, out in the open, let's say. So I'm gonna speak with you on a few things like that. We're also going to talk about your belief systems, how to change them. So not just change them, but track them and see results. So, ooh, goodness. So there's a lot to that, and we'll get started on that. But before we do, we had someone yesterday who came into the group actually early this morning or late last night, depending on where you're at in the world. Not too long ago, within the last 24 hours, that decided to just start posting negative stuff. And it didn't start that way. I had my eye on it pretty much the entire time. And it didn't start that way, right? It started in a way where it was borderline, could be taken as negative, but looked like maybe somebody was just trying to get some answers and get some help and turned negative very quickly. And from there, of course, um, turned into threats, harassment, all kinds of nasty stuff that's being dealt with. Okay, and I'll leave it there. Uh, we'll get back to that in a minute, but first today, we're going to talk about belief systems, and I'm going to say hello to everybody. There's the camera. I always do that, don't I? It's good to see you. Hopefully, you're going to have a good Christmas. Hopefully, you've set yourself up to have the Christmas that you want. Whatever Christmas you're having um, today and tomorrow, it's the one that you have prepared for. It's the one that you have built. And that could be a good thing, that could be a not so good thing. I do know this, whatever kind of Christmas you're going to have this year, you can make it better um, next year than this year by choice, right? By choice. And there's no reason for you to not have the Christmas you want for you, for your family, for everybody else in your life, for the people that you impact. Um, so I'll leave that topic there. For belief systems, how to change them, track, and see the results. So that's where we're going to start today. Let me pull up the. We are going to have a Zoom call, of course, as always. Um, and let me pull up the comment section so I can actually respond to you guys real time. And there we go. Get that out. Tomorrow, it's the one that. There we go. Okay, so now I should be able to see everybody's comments. Everybody tuning in. Cool. Got David, Steve, Adrian, Art's here. Smiley face. It's okay, Art. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Hell of a thing, but yeah. Uh, Muhammad Quessy Art says it's Christmas here in the Philippines, 3 a.m. John says evening, William. Uh, and even wetter and windier, Gloucester. Wow, that's crazy. Uh, Miro says snow anywhere? No, not really. Not here in Vegas. I mean, it's gotten pretty low uh, in temperature here, but nothing major yet, right? Excuse me, I had a tickle in the back of my throat. That sucks. But it typically doesn't snow a lot here. I mean, on the west end, yeah, it does because we're at more of an elevation. But even then, it's usually not like crazy. Every once in a while, it'll be that way. But we live in the desert, so it doesn't get like that usually out here anyway. Um, Back east, though, yeah, there's probably shit ton of snow everywhere. There's been some bad storms rolling through. So yeah, there's places in the states that are pretty bad off. Okay, enough of the weather report because I am not a weather guy. So belief systems. So we talk about that. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people think, oh man, he's trying to influence me. Man, he's trying to change my mind. He's trying to pull one over on me. Um, Not everybody thinks that, obviously, but there's some people out there, and you can see who they are very quickly by how they ask questions, how they write comments. Good example of that would be what we're going to address here in a little bit, uh, with someone basically attacking one of our members and then attacking me as well. And I don't necessarily care about them attacking me as much as I do our members. And so we'll talk about that again in a second on many different levels, but and the whys and hows and what's to come and all that. But it's how do I say this? Um, it's all driven by belief systems, right? And beliefs are a funny thing. They're very powerful for one thing, and a lot of people underrate them or underestimate how strong their belief systems actually are in terms of governance, in your own actions and things like that. Like you can say, here's the craziest part: people can actually say without any hesitation or qualms that they would do X, Y, Z in a scenario, but their belief systems would dictate and govern otherwise, right? Very easily, you can become what I call out of alignment, and that's the self integrity thing. Not that I'm saying people that have lower self integrity um, don't have moral integrity. There's a difference, right? A very big difference. I'm talking about the integrity of uh, mean what I say what I mean, and the alignment of what you think and what you say with what you actually believe and what you actually do in the world. So if your actions align with your beliefs and you're aware of that, then you're and it's harder to tell about a lot of people. But the idea is if you can see how they're questioning things, how so for example, there's ways to get answers to things even if you are suspect of someone or something, right? You can ask questions, uh, not necessarily with a tone, but with a certain uh, with a certain I don't know what the words I'm looking for are. You can ask questions of someone that you're not fond of or that you're questioning whether they're legitimate or not in a way that may be picked up on, but gives people all the room they need to be able to answer your questions, right? Without you having already made assumptions, right? Or negative comments trying to or attempting to influence other people that already have their mind made up and belief systems set differently than yours, right? Um, and so what that does is it creates conflict when you don't do those things, right? When you lash out as opposed to try and keep an open mind, right? Doesn't mean I'm trying to say change your mind. It just means keep an open mind, at least an open mind enough to be rational, right? And I'll show you some examples today of completely irrational and why I protect you guys from that kind of stuff on the regular and what that's going to mean for you ultimately in your business. And there's reasons why I do what I do, and I'll explain all of those and how they protect you and what you can do to leverage that kind of stuff for yourself. Okay. But belief systems, um, a lot of people think that to change a belief system, it takes time. You got to form habits, and a few habits or several habits form a new belief system, or accomplishments, achievements that have never been accomplished or achieved before create new belief systems. And those are all correct. They do, but they don't happen. They don't have to happen overnight, or excuse me, over a long period of time. They can happen overnight or instantly. And a good example of that would be the belief systems that govern you to for smokers to smoke for 40 years until they get diagnosed with cancer. As an example, not all of them, but one of them, let's say, gets diagnosed with cancer, and that day they stop smoking because their belief systems have instantly changed to from whatever it was, which in some cases would be I'm never going to die, and if I die from anything, it's not going to be cancer. I'll die from something else before I die from cancer. Now they have cancer, and so it's like, well, shit, I'm probably going to die from cancer. Let me, and so belief systems completely change in how they live their life, right? In a lot of cases where they not only stop smoking, but they start eating healthy, get clean, get a lot of free radicals out, all that kind of stuff, right? That is that's very much a textbook definition of why this whole, oh, it takes time to change beliefs. No, it doesn't. It takes time if you want it to take time, right? It's all up to you. It's all up here, right? It's all about the 6 inches between your ears, right? The gray matter. Um, you have complete control over that. So that's why I say, hey, not trying to change your mind on anything. Just come into things with an open enough mind to accept what's going on around you, and then make your decisions, right? Then your decisions will govern your actual belief systems on what you believe is possible, what you believe is not possible, what you haven't connected the dots on. Keep asking questions until you get those dots connected so that you can form those belief systems. And with those belief systems, you'll be able to accomplish whatever your belief systems have led you to believe, right? Um, Meaning, if you think it's only possible for you to pull in 50 clients in a month, then that's what you're going to do, or less, right? And you'll never see you or anybody else around you do more than that. Even if people do more than that, you'll never see it because you're not actively looking for it, because your belief systems, it's a belief that it doesn't exist, if that makes sense. So I would say this as a, not as a warning, but as a kind of a wake up call. Beware what you believe in. Beware what you believe in, right? Beliefs are the absolute root of everything, right? Before thought, before everything, it governs everything. Now, there are things you can do, obviously, to influence your own belief systems. There are things outside of you that can influence your belief systems. Other people's results, for example, one guy breaks the 4 minute mile running, and next week, several other people had done it when it had seemed to be impossible and said to be impossible by medical professionals. All kinds of people said, no, not possible. This guy does it, and then next thing you know, within a week, several other people had broken the same barrier because their belief systems were changed by something other than themselves. Okay. Um, I would much prefer you to change your own belief systems and be in control of that and the influence of that more than outside influence. However, I'm fully aware outside influence does happen. It's totally okay. Just also be aware of that and beware of what you actually believe in, right? So, changing the beliefs, we've talked about that. I don't think there's, unless you guys have any questions, I mean, just something to be aware of. That said, I'm going to, let's see, take a look here. Steve says I can see mountains, snow on the mountains from my desk. Art says, feel free to share a pic. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Rob says, hey, William, just want to say thanks for the help with being centered the other day. I didn't get it at first, but it hit me after the stream. Excuse me. Man, I don't know what's going on with my throat. A lot of, a lot of things will hit you after the stream. And I'm not saying that to, it makes me sound arrogant or something. I'm trying to be as humble as possible. there's a lot of thought that went into these topics and how I'm covering them. Some of them I don't cover. Like for example, could I give you a whole checklist and things to do for helping change the belief systems? Absolutely. But then I feel like at that point, I'm telling you more about how to develop belief systems that you might look at as influence to developing belief systems about ring ads. And because I am teaching on a platform with training, software and training, um, I don't want that to be the case. I'd much rather you take the responsibility of managing your own belief systems, just listening to what I'm saying to you on a general level about that. Not all the topics we talk about are general, of course, but uh, things like that being centered versus the work-life balance. Um, they're designed to these topics and how I cover them. They're designed to not only get you thinking, but to put you in reflection mode. A lot of people go into reflection mode towards the end of the year anyway, and so we take advantage of that uh, so that you produce more on the changes of belief systems and what you're able to actually accomplish over the last month of the year, right? So, Green Bay, Wisconsin, no snow. That's a surprise. Uh, Tim, wait 5 minutes, and I'm sure the snow will start. I'm kidding, but I do. If you like snow, I guess I hope you see snow, and if you don't like snow, well then I hope you don't see snow for the rest of the winter. Um, cool. Okay, so now let's talk about. Sorry, I can't say it without laughing. Let me try to put on a straight face. Let's talk about when people when people attack and what happens with that. Like there's I don't know. Let's just start explaining kind of the story, and I'll let the images do the talking for me. So if I were to come into let's see here, um, gonna come in here, and then I'll go to screen. There we go. Awesome. All right, so you should be able to see um, the main group here, and as we scroll down, you'll see where we're live and all that, and all the comments. I've actually got you guys over in another screen where I can see all the comments coming in here. Okay, let me pause the stream. I don't need that playing. I'm gonna come over to the other tab, and you'll see some posts that were made from Art for the competition. Which, by the way, Art, your points have been tallied up. You're at like I think 1,600 points, I believe. And I got all your recordings, so everything's good there. Anyway, you'll see this guy named Doug Paul, and Doug had a bad morning for many different reasons. But if I were to cover this normally, when Art gets a client or anybody gets a client, I come in. I not only love the post, I always do that. I also give you some pointers, keep you motivated, point you in the right direction. For example, if you look at the other one up top here, where's it at? Nope, maybe it's on down. Hold on, because that was number 14. We'll get to that in a second. Here it is, 15. So you'll see I actually put in um, this yesterday, explaining to Art, hey, this is like what your numbers are. See, I don't just say great job. I do say that a lot, but I don't just say that, if that makes sense. I always make sure to say, hey, that you're at already at half a client a day for the month, and there's still 7 days to go. This is a big time. Make Christmas Eve count. Half a day tomorrow, which is today now, can add 3 or 4 clients to this number, put you within striking distance of 30 clients for the month. Keep it up, double down. So motivation, that kind of stuff. And then of course everybody else congratulating them, which I always do my best to love those posts as well, because I think it's really cool when we support each other, right? All right. Well, uh, Doug comes in and writes this gem right here, which is actually pretty good. I think it really is a gem. Not being a smartass. It'll be interesting to see how you follow up on these sales, Art. Be sure and let us know customer satisfaction. So he's talking about customer retention and all that kind of stuff, right? And so the conversation goes back and forth between Doug and Art, and Art's actually pretty magnanimous, pretty benevolent, helping out another member. So I appreciate that, and I expect nothing less of Art, but at the same time to see it in action, especially with someone that turns so sour so quick. that was probably already sour, in other words. Um, and how he handled it was pretty well, right? And so I want to commend that and commend all of you for that because it is all our group. It's all our responsibility. I take ultimate responsibility, yes, but we all have to take some part of responsibility for managing ourselves, right? And so even when other people refuse to for themselves, like Doug here, and so um, Art responds back, have a few busy days setting up the new clients. Doug says setting them up is one thing, keeping them happy is another. And so you'll see what I mean when I say the comments aren't negative, they're borderline. You can kind of tell where the mindset is, right? He's already got his belief systems made up about something to do with what we teach, like what we don't teach client retention. You know what I mean? uh, Quite the opposite. Anyway, Art fires back. That's true. Don't currently see an issue with that. So he's just basically saying, no problems on my end. And this is what I love. Look at this. How are things going for you? So Art's not trying to change the subject or turn it on him or anything, but he's genuinely asking. I know this guy well enough to know that Art is asking because he's curious. He wants to help, right? And he's following my lead on that, which I really, again, am grateful for. I appreciate. That's why I love all you guys, and that's why I'll protect you to the death, right? Then, of course, Doug fires back. I'm actually focusing on the back end, making sure I keep the clients I get. I'm not worried about them. It's about the delivery. Anyhow, your customer retention rate would be good to see. Thanks for your input. So, not bad, right? We're back on the point where, okay, he's just wanting to see customer retention. It's a question that could be answered very easily in one of the daily live streams, of course, and we have answered that before, just not for Mr. Paul here. Um, Art did talk about his client re-up that he got, but not from a December Dash client. Mentioned it in one of the recent coaching calls. Discussed the struggles with regards to delivery, which is basically Art leaving out a little bit of detail here, but nothing crazy. That's what happens when you can't deliver phone calls when you don't follow as well when you don't follow the training, right? But as soon as Art corrected himself on that, corrected the campaigns, bam, he started delivering phone calls to existing clients who were at first not happy and then re-upped, right? Which means Art's delivering by definition, and we've confirmed this over the phone. Art and I have live on coaching calls with you guys that he's delivering qualified phone calls to clients. Period. Um, Delivering qualified phone calls, right? In the month where it's off season, I might add. Um, and so Doug again, of course, fires back. So many variables always boils down to how much money you make them. Talking about the clients, selling's one part, delivering on what you sold's the other. I think it's important for anyone in this group to realize you are the company. Well, no shit, right? So now he's in teach mode, which is cool. Um, when your customers are not happy, they'll be coming to you. That's correct. This is not like some big corporation where once you make the sale, your job is done. Far from it, which is exactly what I teach you guys. When you collect the money and you ask for the money, what do I always tell you? You've just begun, right? Like you have an entire set of systems and processes that engage right after the sale is made and confirmed, and then a client is onboarded and also calls delivered, right? Uh, and so it turns again not super negative, but kind of like a teacher slash warning. Remember that if you don't deliver, you'll be out the door real quick. Making the sales just the beginning is probably the easiest part, which I don't disagree with. Um, Again, it's just the way he's making one-liners and the tone that's being used. And I know you're probably like, well, that's written. Excuse me. Yes, but I've been around people enough to know the language that people use when they're in a certain state of mind. Excuse me, in almost every case. There's the tickle in my throat again. Give me 1 second. Let me grab some water. And so Art writes back, delivery is not an issue for the people, but for the people concerned with this, I would look into getting a fake client, right? And of course, Doug fires back. And it's a little bit rude because anytime somebody says all due respect, they're about to be an asshole, right? Everybody knows that. Pretty much. That's not, you don't get licensed to say whatever the hell you want after you say all due respect because there's none due, is what they're trying to say. So I mean this with all due respect. How many deliveries have you made? And here's where things get interesting. So, Art, if you're on the call listening to this, here's what I would have said. And it's easy to Monday morning quarterback this shit. I think you did very well with what you did. However, this is where numbers play its part. How many deliveries have you made? Well, I've made 12 in the last 3 days, and I expect way more than that because this is the off season. In other words, I'm doing shit, but there's a specific number tied to it, right? Whereas you shied away from the number, right? And there's a reason why I don't shy away from numbers, because numbers tell the story. And that left an opening here for Mr. Paul to start bashing your dash results, bash the dash, I guess. A decent amount. You write for my pre-dash clients, December dash clients. The December dash clients know they'll be getting leads in January. I did that so I could focus on sales. So it makes it sound like you don't know what you're doing, even though I know you do and everybody else does. Mr. Paul here. So you just started, right? And then you have to before respond with, before going the client's route, I ran a national affiliate campaign for my vertical, saw success without, but the payouts suck, which is why I'm going direct now. Now this is where things take an interesting turn, because that's not bad either. But again, Art, no specifics. Numbers will shut people up very, very quickly. Numbers shut people up extremely quickly. Um, and of course, Doug fires back with, we're talking about ring ads, Art. So here's the thing. It's very clear that Doug has already has some other belief systems in place that are set, right? And I guess the difference would be what ring ads is doing or not doing for you that a an affiliate campaign would do. Like ring ads is responsible for um, the the success you see in local clients versus affiliate campaigns, which couldn't be further from the truth. Ring Ads is a call tracking and agency management platform, not. And he's right. This is a whole new ball game, but again, language like this, where it's my friend, um, the way he's one-liner direct, it's very clear where his head is at this point. And Art continues with him. Uh, Again, being as magnanimous as possible, right? And said in that case, yes, I'm just starting out, hence why I qualify for that competition. I need less than, well, you need less than 5 clients on December 1st to start. And of course, Doug takes it to another level, right? I could care less about the competition. It means nothing to anyone but William. By the way, if this is true, let me know in the comments. Like if December Dash doesn't do anything for you, I have no problems in not doing it again, right? I've done it a few years. I like doing it, yes. But if you feel that this is doing only something for me, then by all means, let's find something else to do that's going to push you up to higher levels, right? It's possible he has a point. See, if I were a total dickhead, I would be like, well, that's just not true and completely combative, right? But I want to know. I want to hear from you guys. If this is true, right? Then let me know so that we can course correct and actually produce what you guys need. Okay. Um, that's what open-minded people do. They take care of each other and they actually care. So let me know if that's, I mean, if you feel this way, if this means nothing to you, and it means everything to me apparently, and that's how you feel about it, let me know. Okay. We're talking about facts again, Art. That's where the numbers could have been handy, and what he latched onto obviously the most. You're not a corporation. You're not working for a corporation with this. Once again, selling is a very small aspect of this. Remember what I said. Best of luck to you. So this is his way of kind of trying to sign off and have the last word. Um, I don't think Art caught that because he fires back again. Um, and I appreciate the response here. It's just now it's a little bit defensive, rightfully so, I guess, but still a little bit defensive. Um, with Art saying it means a good amount to me and the others that attend the calls take action, which is true. I'm sure everyone knows this isn't get rich quick. You must deliver on what you committed to. No one would disagree there. For me, the struggle was with getting clients, which I've improved on, but still needs work. Delivery happens because I know what I am doing. And then he fires back with, but you haven't delivered yet, so you don't really know what you're talking about. And again, I know everybody else knows, except for Mr. Paul here, knows that Art's delivered phone calls. We've covered that. He's delivered them enough to where a client that was not happy, about to quit or refund, um, started getting phone calls and then did a re-up. meaning they put more money in because they were getting good phone calls all of a sudden. And I say all of a sudden facetiously. It's because Art started following the training on campaigns. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. He delivers qualified phone calls. If he didn't, I guarantee you Art would not be on the phone closing clients, because one of the reasons Art did not go and get new clients was because he wasn't able to deliver for the couple clients he had at that time because of that whole campaign thing. Once he got that sorted over in the mentorship, we actually did that. So all this is documented, by the way, between Art and myself, getting all this shit fixed. And it's not like there was a ton of stuff to fix. It was actually a few simple changes. Go back, start from zero, run this campaign. It's located in Mirror, and I'll help you dial it in as we go. And that's exactly what we've done, and we'll continue to do. But again, you see, Art fires back. I've got clients that I deliver leads to at the moment, which, while it is true that I haven't delivered for the December Dash clients, there isn't a reason why I wouldn't once the campaign is live. I wish you luck with your agency as well. Feel free to post in the group if you have any struggles and whatnot. And this was meant as I totally get where he's at now. Art, he Art wasn't as defensive in this post. He was genuinely wishing the guy best of luck, and if you have struggles, let us know, right? To be helpful, because that's Art. He's a helpful kind of guy, and actually very helpful, as it turns out. And this guy just didn't know that about Art, right? So he's still, again, set in his belief systems. Art's not going to be able to change that or anything, right? So the conversation continues on because Mr. Paul did not get the last word. So this is where he fires back, and again is pretty confrontational, I guess. Um, be honest with yourself. Why are you telling me to feel free to post in the group? Is there something I don't know? And I wasn't sure where he was going with this either. But I'm sitting here watching it live at this point, and I saw him originally start the post and said, "Well, that's a little bit negative, but we'll see where it goes." And here we are, like an hour in at this point, somewhere in there, and I'm watching this thing unfold. And Art says, "Not really. You have everything needed to get clients and deliver for them as it is," which is 100% true. Uh, Doug says, "I know that, Art. I'm just confused as to why you feel you need to give me permission. Very strange." And Art, of course, clarifies that was not meant to imply you needing permission to post, but on the topic of permission, you do have my permission to give this a go. Make 2021 the best first year of business, as some seek permission to succeed. Not sure if that applies to you, but it does seem your tone is doubting the processes here. So now Art has called him on that tone, right? So he caught onto it, and I'm sure he caught onto it way back, because there was some things that Art said that, obviously, if he's defensive, he or starting to get defensive, then he feels that, right? Um, and then the next, this is crazy, but true. The next post is from Mr. Paul. It says, "William, I mean Art. My tone indicates that there's much more to this process than selling," which implies that Mr. Paul is implying there that Art and I are the same person, which again has been extremely well documented. We are not the same person. We don't even look alike, or sound alike. And we've been on Zoom calls live, um, working on everything from campaigns to, gosh, client acquisition, everything, you name it. So, uh, this guy has clearly lost the plot at this point, and it's so easy for him to have already done his homework, and he didn't do that. So totally okay with that. Just, anyhow, I think I have everything I needed here to take care of my friends. So now he's out again. He's trying to bail out again, and of course Art re-engages him, because he wanted that last word, right? And he keeps digging as much as possible. So Art fires back. You mentioned you're not concerned with the sales side, which is great as that holds many up, but are you concerned with the delivery side? What do you feel is holding you back with regards to delivery? So Art's genuinely trying to help, right? Art's genuinely trying to help someone that he feels needs the help. Just doesn't know if it's in regards to delivery, because that's where the negativity was coming from for Mr. Paul, at least initially. And of course, I'm gonna write back, um, as I see this. Wow, right? Because after he wrote that I am Art, right? I had to respond to that and make sure that uh, the warning was fired, because this guy's a little bit out of control with the negativity. So uh, I wrote this. Wow. All one has to do is view any recent call with myself and Art to know we're two different people, and the whole history we have as mentor and mentee. Doug, we have a strict policy here about negativity. There's zero tolerance for it. As this is a carefully curated place for results and paper call, our policy states one warning and then you're out. As you can see, our people care for each other, and we're more than happy to help you out no matter the question or concern. Just check the attitude and assumptions at the door. So this is I'll tell you right now, this is about as nice as I'll ever get if you're this big of a dick. If you're acting like a dick this much, this is as nice as it gets. It does not get any nicer. It only gets worse. I can promise you. Um, about this time, I started getting a private message, which I don't do private messages. However, it came from this joker, right? So I made sure to answer this, and you'll see about 12:30 in the morning, he started writing, "I'm on to you, buddy. Thinking, thinking, thinking. I'm waiting for something good. Mr. Vegas, pitiful." Okay, you can see here obviously that I've also blocked Paul's Facebook account, and we'll get to that in a minute. Mr. Paul's Facebook account. Um, so it looks like he's best I can figure, and best I can figure on this message over here. He thinks that I am art, or that I'm masking myself as art, and that I'm thinking of what to respond with in a comment because it tends to say somebody's writing a comment or whatever. It doesn't necessarily tell you who, and then he's waiting for something good, right? And then he calls me Mr. Vegas and then pitiful. Okay. Uh, Around that time, I see that, and I had already posted this, and of course, Mr. Paul responds back with, "William, you've provided nothing. You show no proof of anything. You are a scam artist," um, which I find interesting because there's tons of people. Actually, when I say tons of people, there over the last, gosh, call it 5 years. Over the last 5 years, there's at least, uh, I'd say at least 200, probably 300 or more people that I have documented uh, success stories with. And that's just what I know of. And it's always going to be a smaller number than the actual. Like I've had guys come onto a coaching call before randomly and say, "I know I don't come on here and talk a lot, but I'll tell you, I had to come in and say thank you, at least say thank you. I just scored a $250,000 deal doing this and that, and I'm delivering on it." And then they bounce out, and I'm like, "Wait, who was that?" Because I don't have a story on that, and I'd love to have that, obviously. But again, some people are just private. I'm okay with that. I really am. I don't have to have tons and tons and tons of people or every person come forward and share their results. For the ones that do, though, you're going to be not a target. You're going to be exposed to people like this from time to time, right? Um, and again, we've got for anybody that's curious, like there's a photo album at the top of this group. I'll show you in a minute. That's got tons of proof just with ring ads over the last, I don't know, year and change here. And I haven't even really been proactive about it as much as I usually am. And that's because there's a lot of things I'm getting in place infrastructure wise, and then that's going to explode, right? And Art is doing very well with that. So obviously he becomes a target for Mr. Paul here. But then Mr. Paul shifts his attention to me because that's probably what he was after. Uh, Art asks if Julian, which Julian's yet to respond yet, if this is his friend, and Mr. Paul acts pretty not violent, but definitely escalates with what the hell does Julian have to do with this, right? And this is my response to being a scam artist from Mr. Paul. There is that there are tons of people that will disagree with you both privately and publicly, which are true. Um, there are people that I've taught that will never admit that I've taught them, and they've already done that publicly and privately, and that's okay. I'm totally okay with that because I've got it documented, like live video proof and messenger and all that kind of stuff, and I'm not afraid to put the truth out there at all whatsoever. Um, and of course, Art fires back with, "I saw you two are friends, and Julian is having success with this. Honestly, at a loss for words as to your state when he's doing fine." And that is interesting because he's not wrong there. And Julian, there's some mindset stuff there from time to time, but Julian works through it and processes it. So it is a bit of a shock to see that those two guys are at least friends on Facebook. And what the hell's going on there, right? Who knows? But all I can say is, um, I have the same thought. Like, man, it's amazing how belief systems can, like, Julian may even have some doubts, right, from time to time, but he works through them, processes them, and keeps an open mind, right? Super solid. Whereas Mr. Paul has just a completely different outlook with the same set of belief systems, or maybe worse, right? So I write back in a message that says, specifically to Art, after removing Doug. But before I read that, I have to come back to the messenger because all of this unfolds. And so, of course, I'm going to have a little bit of fun with it because I have to. And I took all of what he said there and I wrote, never been called Mr. Vegas before. And he writes, of course, now that I responded, he can see my info before I blocked him and everything. And he goes, "You've never played poker, right? And you have never played poker, right?" And I wrote, "Poker isn't my game. Craps, on the other hand," right? As a joke. And then I write this. "So I take it you're ignoring our zero tolerance policy for negative comments in the group," because he kept posting, right? This was after the scam artist comment came out, and the first one was before. So it's very clear to me at this point that he has no intention of abiding by our policy, right, for negative comments. But I wanted to confirm, so I'm giving him every chance and option here to comply, right, and play ball in the group because it's not a free speech forum, and there's reasons why, as you can see. And I get this response back: "William, you may think your policy means something. You will be investigated." And that's always a fun message. I'm not laughing as a self-defense mechanism more than I am laughing. This isn't the first time I've heard this. It's not the first time I've been name called. Ain't my first rodeo. And so I send him just the standard boilerplate, which is a couple of additions, but basically this: "To the contrary, our policies mean everything." That's the extras. "But best of luck to you in your endeavors. Consider your access revoked on grounds of noncompliance. Harassment of any kind towards ring ads as staff and members will also not be tolerated, and will be pursued and will be aggressively pursued legally." Excuse me. That's our boilerplate, which is actually very true. And then I get back a, "You have no idea." I have no idea what's coming, I guess. Um, Heard this many, many times. Believe it when I see it, and if I see it, it's going to get quashed extremely quickly. Good luck trying to, sorry, shaking my drink here. Good luck trying to find anything on me. And if you do, I don't know, I'll give you a cookie or $100 or something, or both. I'll give you a cookie and $100, right? That's what I'll do. You find something on me. And by find something on me, I should probably define that. Uh, Find something on me inside of an investigation, right? Like, I'm not saying I welcome all challengers or anything, because I do tend to lead a private life, but there's nothing to find. There's nothing interesting anyway. Um, and I can tell you this, definitely nothing scam going on. I mean, everybody that's ever posted results has done so freely, right? Um, Not under any kind of pressure whatsoever. So, anyway, once I saw that, I actually blocked Mr. Paul here and reported this message for harassment, and I think that was more than justified, simply because the threat was made. "You'll be investigated," and that is a threat, 100%. And not only that, it's also harassment. And then after the message of telling them, "Hey, we don't accept that kind of harassment in our community," and also Facebook's going to see that this person has been blocked by from that group by the admin, and to see that message, it's very clear that I am keeping things civil, no name calling, anything like that, and asking direct questions, getting an answer like this with a thread in it, and of course responding appropriately. Shouldn't be any issues there. But then of course I post this because this is where it kind of comes full circle here. I let Art know that Doug's been removed, and this is for everybody else to see as well, which I see a few of you have caught on and seen this. But been removed for non-compliance to our community guidelines here, right? And when his harassment continued on Facebook Messenger, he was reported to Facebook for that activity. And I tell Art, haters are going to hate, right? You just got to keep focused on your results, and many more like him are going to come and go. And that's very true, sadly, but true. And I tell him I love him because I do, and all of Ring Ads, which I do very much. I love all of you guys, and that we proactively protect you from all this kind of shit, right? And of course, I said more details on today's call. So why did I cover all that in that much depth? And it's funny because I got a comment from, oh shit, was it Steve Taylor? I think Steve wrote a comment here somewhere in here. It's not that far up, is it? No, it's not. Maybe it's down. Maybe it's down. Nope. Anyway, I got a comment from Steve Taylor saying, "Hey, why are you leaving this up? We or not why are you leaving this up? It was oh, I run a group and a bigger group in another business, and something along the lines of when we have trolls come in like this, we delete their comments and stuff too. And I tend to leave them up, and the reason I leave them up is so that everybody can see exactly what's going on, what happened, um, where somebody else is head at, because we're all grown ass adults, right? You can make up your own mind. Again, not trying to influence your beliefs or hide something or sweep anything under the rug. I want you to see it all, right? And I think that's more of a problem for Mr. Paul here than he realizes, uh, because you guys now get to make up your own mind on the evidence, right? You get to see where the headspace is for Mr. Paul, um, what kind of members we really have here, like Art, and how much they take up for each other, and how much we all take up for each other, and also what kind of leadership you've got that will go to bat for you even after being threatened. Like people that threaten get shut down very, very quickly, at least with me. And you'll always have that. You'll always have that. And that's why, again, I say Ring Ads is very much a safe haven, and it's possible for you to do some crazy cool things. And uh, you've seen Art's, uh, not testimonials, I guess it could be considered that, but you've seen Art's proof, right? But there's also, here we go, more. Oh shit, maybe I should just go down to media here. Here we go. You'll see albums. If you go to albums here, you'll see Ring Ads Royalty. And if you go here, you'll see uh, all the proof and then some. And I haven't updated this in a while either. But there's tons of proof in here. Tons of proof. Between this, documented calls, I mean, either that guy was just a straight troll or was just not happy with his business and needed some serious help, and just didn't know how to ask for it. Gave him a couple of warning shots and did so without threatening, right? Did it as nicely as possible, letting him know that community guidelines are being violated, and the guy didn't come correct, right? Anyway, it is what it is, right? There's nothing I can do about that.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Okay, so yeah, let me come back to the comments here, and I will post in a link for Zoom, Zoom copy, and I'll make sure that it's there in the comment section. You can come on live. Feel free to ask questions, get help with anything you need at any point. Or if you don't want to come on live, you can ask in the comments section, and be more than happy to answer there as well. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top of the comments. I know that was a lot to go through, but again, it gives you a good example of belief systems. I couldn't make this shit up. That's exactly what we were supposed to talk about today. And then there's a perfect example of not so good belief systems, and then also how the belief systems govern uh, our members who are very much a community, look after each other, take care of each other, and all that. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I'll keep my eye on the waiting room. If you want to come in, ask some questions, I'm here. Um, Otherwise, I'm just going to answer questions in the comment section, and we'll bounce out of here because I don't want to keep everybody on Christmas Eve, right? David says this TED Talk is germane to William's comment today. We each make up our versions of what reality is. See, Thanks, David. Appreciate that. Now I'm going to go and look at that, see if I'll make a note of that. I always like that kind of stuff, those kind of contributions. Um, and comments, so I can find it later. Cool. Uh, David says that's not true. December Dash is a valuable service. I'm more than sure William does not need December Dash 2020. We do. Well, again, I mean, I thought I was being extremely transparent. I always do my best to be transparent, and the December Dash. I mean, to have verified clients and to show more proof is obviously one of the things I'm after for sure. And of course, I'm going to incentivize that, right? But it also does help me help you grow a bigger agency, and by default, that in turn helps me. So I only win in the December Dash if you guys win in the December Dash. I mean, that's the only way I win. Otherwise, we all lose, right? So I thought that was pretty obvious, but apparently, some people think it's just for me. So I just wanted to confirm. I mean, David says that's not true. That's good to know. Um, Miro says it's more for you guys. Quessy, December Dash, and all your previous trainings are priceless in helping all of us to create a successful pay-per-call agency. Okay, cool. So I just want to make sure. Um, John says, for me, keep this going as long as you're prepared to do the work that goes behind these things. Look at how much progress some have made thanks to what you set up. See, I appreciate that. So that helps me definitely understand where you guys are coming from. That's what I needed to hear. Not that I need validation, but I always appreciate feedback. I keep an open mind. I mean, maybe he had a point, is my point. You always got to keep an open mind, even when people are acting like an asshole. You still need to listen to what they're saying because maybe there's some element or sliver of truth in it, right? That you can course correct on. I'm just saying. I've learned some of the best lessons and course corrections from some of the worst people on the face of God's green earth to deal with. I'm telling you right now, and you will too if you keep an open mind. I guess that's the main point there. Oh, and by the way, the belief system of mine that governs that is one that I learned from my grandfather, the one that I never got to meet, the one that I'm named after. Um, and but he passed on something to my father, who passed it on to me, and that I'm grateful for. The few things that my father actually passed on to me that were extremely beneficial, intentionally, let's say, and that was one of them. And it was um, it was along the lines of, and I'm going to paraphrase here, but the idea is this: uh, when it comes to um, when it comes to how did he say it? Let me get this right. Oh, it's the whole. It was based off the expression of which still exists today and is still used in use today, of having two ears and one mouth. Right? It's not children are to be seen and not heard. That I got told a lot growing up, which sucked. But more of a listen more twice as much as you speak, and and actually listen. Like his point was to not just say that to say it and sound cute, right? But people would always ask him how he understood people so well, and it's because he listened with an open ear, right, or an open set of ears, not just twice as much. Yes, he listened to people, but he very much understood where they were coming from. Now, a lot of what I do is pretty high speed in terms of just the pace that I move at, because a lot of what you guys can come up with and say I've already heard, meaning I already have the solution, and we're going to be moving at a pace that may not be as comfortable for you because you're like, well, wait, you didn't get the rest of my story, and it's at that point it's kind of like we don't need the rest of the story, not because I don't want to hear it, but because I'm in the interest of saving time and saving you a lot of time and trouble. And also, every time you tell a story, you relive it, which means if it's a bad story, guess what? You're going to continue to relive that. If that's not necessary because I fully understand already where you're coming from and what can be done about it, more importantly, then I'm going to move straight into the solution, especially if I already know where you're coming from, right? But I'm only going to do that if I know where you're coming from. Anyway, um, the belief systems that I have are come from what I was taught from a man I never met that I'm named after, that I was told was not a saint by any means, but definitely had a good head on his shoulders, and understood that you really got to listen to people, even if you don't like them. Was the tough one, you know, and whether I like somebody or not has no bearing on whether I'm going to help them or not. Isn't that crazy? Again, belief systems govern that. And I'm not saying that to make me sound like something like I'm a saint or anything, because I'm not. I'm 100% not. It's just how I choose to live my life, though. And I feel like if all of us, or a good number of us, were to adopt that kind of way of thinking in our daily life, the world would be a better place, you know? Um, and that's why probably I do take on a lot, because I know that people will succeed with what I teach and everything. So that said, it's interesting to see how people come out the other side of that. But I still am going to keep an open mind and listen to what they have to say and ask the question. I seriously wanted to know the answer to that, and I appreciate you guys answering that for me, because that gives me the feedback that I need. And it is important. It is important because, again, if December Dash is not it, or if that was not it, then what is, right? We got to figure that out, because if we don't, then what the hell are we doing, right? That's how I look at it. Um, and that's why I said maybe he's got a point. Let's ask. There's nothing. There's no shame in that. There's no shame in asking. I feel it's the right direction, but hey, here's somebody who doesn't feel that way. Let's find out why, or let's see if everybody else feels that way first. Adrian says this guy works for the IRS. You will be investigated. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, whatever. Muhammad, kudos to Art for handling all that negativity of Mr. Paul with such benevolence and understanding. Good on you, buddy. Yeah, man. I agree. I agree 100%. Uh, Adrian says it is what it is. That video, those guys are from Jamaica. Yeah, it always cracks me up too, because you know what I think of? I know Russ is over in the DR, but I've worked with Marlon, who's from Jamaica originally. Um, Adrian, you're from Jamaica. There's a couple more people I think even from Jamaica, and Russ is over from the DR, and I know that Jamaica is not, the DR, but it is in the Caribbean, and Russ has Russ from support from way back, right? One of my first hires actually um, has an accent, right? It's not super thick or anything, but I always enjoyed because he's a very pleasant guy to be around. I guess is another thing why I always enjoyed talking to him. But I always loved his accent because it made me pay attention more, and uh, I've always loved the philosophy down there, and I feel like a lot of that drives the accent, kind of like Southern accents. The reason a lot of Southern accents are drawn out and slow in speech, slower in speech, typically, um, is because of the way of life, right? And I feel like that has a dramatic impact on the language and how it's spoken. So I always find it not necessarily humorous, like laugh at, ha ha, but um, there's some real. That's a real, knowledge bomb right there. It is what it is, you know. But to have a bunch of guys standing around in Jamaica say that is pretty funny, just the way they did that, you know. But I love that, so I had to clip that among other things. But anyway, it always cracks me up too. Art says, "Do you think calling over this weekend would be advisable or no, worth a shot?" No, I wouldn't. I'd regroup, set everybody up, get everything moving, systems and processes. That's where I'd be at after today. Tomorrow, Saturday, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'd be regrouping for the next few day push between Monday afternoon, basically Monday afternoon to Thursday afternoon, right? It's another 3 day push like that, half a day on each end, 2 days in the middle, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? Um, and give it everything you got on that, including follow up. Today would be good for a bunch of calls and then follow ups in the early afternoon, and then be done, before it gets dark, be done. 2 o'clock, be done, that kind of thing. Uh, Rob says, I had a friend like Doug, always negative. Some people think that their only way up, that their only way up is to bring someone else down. Yeah, there's quite a few people out there like that. And the good news is this group makes it very easy for them to see a mile away, right? And to still do what Art did, which is again lead by example here. Reach your hand out, help them anyway. Try to help them anyway. And if they continue to spit on you or slap you around, it will not happen for long, let me tell you. And you'll get the encouragement and love that you need, not just from me, but from the rest of the group. I promise. Um, Muhammad says this eye-opening conversation that transpired earlier today between Art and Mr. Paul makes one realize that us entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs are required to be enterprising in two important ways. Number one, in the way we play an instrumental role in growing our respective enterprises through the effective use of various systems and processes, and number two, in the way we deal with any negativity that may come our way, whether it be from members of staff or clients, customers, or anyone else for that matter. Bottom line, for all of us to here, stay focused, stay grounded, stay positive. 100%. There's more to it than that, but those are two very big things that will, again, belief systems wise, uh, govern your agency building to success. 100%. David writes, perhaps Mr. Paul would benefit from this Steve Harvey quote. Me trying to blow your candle out won't make mine shine any brighter. That's a good one. I don't know if his purpose, and again, we can overanalyze it, from here to kingdom come. I don't know if his purpose was to, rain on anybody's parade more than it was just to express his dissatisfaction, right? It's hard to tell because he didn't get far enough in the conversation, and the reason he didn't get far enough in the conversation is because he couldn't check the negative shit at the door, and that sucks for him. Seriously, um, I've worked with people that don't like me all the time, and I could care less because if you're able to show up, put the work in, succeed, even if you don't like me, great. At least you were able to do something with it, and that's what matters to me the most. For those people that out there that don't like me, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I can live with that. I can keep you in the group. There are people in the group right now I'd love, on a personal level, nothing more than to boot to the fucking curb. 100%. There are people in this group. Am I going to do that? No. Why? Because that's personal, not business. And to me, there is a separation. One can impact the other for sure. But when it comes to making sure that everybody has the same opportunity to succeed in this business model, if anything, I'm going to spend as much time with someone whom I don't like or don't appreciate as much as I will with someone whom I do. And I do that so that there's no favoritism, so that you see, okay, it's not like he's working behind the scenes with only a few people. Like a lot of people might be thinking that, oh, maybe Art's having a lot of success because I'm talking to him via private messenger all the time or something. And no, the opposite is true. Actually, Art has sent me a friend request, and just so he knows, if he's listening to this call, it's not that I don't want to be Art's friend. It's that if I become Art's friend, it opens that messenger channel, and if that messenger channel is open, then there's not temptation or anything, but there's room for that kind of a conversation to begin. And those kind of conversations, as he knows, belong inside the mentorship group, because it's private over there, yes, but also it's where he gets the help that he's gotten up to this point that's gotten him to where he needs to be and wants to be. And uh, there's no need for any kind of extra help or anything. And I've done that with a lot of people. I have an abyss of pending friend requests. I mean, at one point in my Facebook career, I had like 3,500 people friended, and now I'm less than 120 because I actually manage my account. Like I said, I manage my social profiles so that I see what I need to see, what I want to see. Um, and it's not because I don't care about you guys or because I care about you less than I care about friends and family or something like that. A lot of you very much could consider yourself a friend of mine, and I'd be the first to buy you a drink at the bar drinking's your thing, or hang out with you at dinner, right? And I've done so on many occasions over the years, those kinds of things. Um, but to not honor, I guess, maybe the integrity of the two groups that we have, I feel like would be taking away from other people because they're like, oh, well, he's only going to work with the people that shine the most or whatever. And that's just not the case. It's just not the case. Um, and Art can attest to that. He'll tell you straight up, yep, he didn't accept my friend request. But now he's not, his feelings aren't hurt by it, I'm sure, because now he knows why. And also why I say things like I don't deal on Messenger. I chose to do that with Paul, Mr. Paul, because he was reaching out to me and at the same time happened to be um, breaking our community guidelines, right? So I made sure that the message went out. I had a feeling it was going that direction anyway. And so at the end of that conversation, regardless if he just stayed in the group or anything, I would have let him know that this is a private channel, Messenger is, and it's not okay to reach out to me here. There's many ways to reach out to us and support and in the group. This is not one of them. And then I would block the conversation, right? I would mute the conversation and not ever look at it again. And so, yeah, if some of you have sent things in Messenger, guarantee you I probably haven't seen it. And if I have, um, I'm not going to respond to it because it's just, again, it's not part of the groups. It's not going to help other people. It's also not going to help you if I give you a seeming advantage over everybody else because it's not an advantage in almost every case. And I've proven that over the years, actually. So I'm doing us all a favor by not doing that. I promise, 100%. Um, Nobody in the waiting room. Okay. Um, Comments. Let's see where we at. Art says it's okay if you don't want to be my friend. I can take it. You know, and I know I get that that's a joke. I get it. Art knows how I feel about him. I mean, he and I have had enough conversations. He knows where he stands in my book. He's not a dummy. He knows. He's just cracking a joke. For everybody else that might be in the dark on whether I like you or not, I'll tell you right now, if I don't like you, I'm probably going to say so. And I have said so. I know this sounds crazy. It's like, well, why would you just be that candid or that honest with people? Well, because if they were being a complete dick to me, then I'm going to tell them straight out, listen, man, I'm here to help you, right? I'm here. I've actually said this to someone, not in the last couple of years have I said this to anyone. So if I haven't said this to you specifically within the last couple of years, then you're not on that list of people I don't like. Um, but I've said this to a couple different people over the last several years, where I say, listen, it's very clear that you don't like me. Is that fair to say? And of course, they're hesitant to say because they don't want to be that guy or that gal that says, yeah, I don't like you. Um, for some reason, I don't get it. Like we can't tell, just go ahead and be 100% with it. Um, and of course, they finally come clean and say, okay, good. Here's why that matters. Uh, I don't like you either. And here's the difference. I'm here trying to help you do this, this, and this. Forget about whether I like you or not. Listen to what I'm teaching you, listen to what I'm telling you, and accept it as this is the result you'll get from it if you apply it, right? So, in other words, I try to approach it from a logical place where set the emotion aside for a second. I don't like you either, buddy. That kind of thing. Um, because the people I would have around me wouldn't, even if they were questioning me, they wouldn't question me with that kind of tone or with that kind of attitude. They would have checked it at the door. Um, Hell, you come at me in the street like that, and there's going to be problems. Like that's the kind of attitude sometimes that you get from people. Yet that's how I approach it. Is very much, hey, listen, I don't like you either. I don't want to be around this. At the same time, though, I made a commitment to teach anybody and everybody who's willing to learn, right? So set that aside for a second. You can hate me later, right? You can not like me later. Look at this and evaluate it for what it is. See the results. See where other people have done exactly what I'm teaching you and have gotten those results that you want, that you're after. Apply it, get the results, and then go back to fucking not liking me. And I'll go back to not liking you. Cool? Cool. All right. And that's it. It's very de-escalated, again, logical. maybe not the best approach, but it's an approach that I found works pretty well, giving those people that maybe don't like me as much, or that may have challenges with uh, some of the things. Oh, you don't provide any social proof. Well, obviously that's completely false, but maybe it's not enough to someone's liking. Okay, well then that's a different story. Not much I can do about that except address questions that might come up. And again, if they're coming from a negative space or mindset, I'm going to do everything I can to give them a shot at redemption, right? Not for liking me, but for them actually achieving their goal in the business. Like, I don't want to have to kick somebody out of the group. I don't. But I'll tell you right now, if it comes down to them continually feeding negative shit in the group, uh, even for a short period of time, versus your success as a whole in ring ads, all of you guys come first, 100%. And I've made that very clear in the community guidelines. And if somebody doesn't read that, that ain't my problem, because I give them a warning too, right? And I make that part of the guideline. I will always give you a verbal warning or some kind of a written warning uh, before you're just axed. Okay, so, and I've had to axe a few people now. I think like maybe three or four. Um, but yeah, that's uh, that's why I do what I do. Why this is a safe haven. Why you should take advantage of that. Know that I pretty much like everybody I talked to over the last couple of years, so you're probably not on that list. And even if you were, now you know how I'd treat you. I do my best to be as equal and as fair as possible, because I believe everybody deserves this opportunity, even the people I don't like. I know that sounds crazy, but if I'm here to make a difference in the world, and I'm starting with ring ads in terms of expansion and what we have planned, um, how can I honestly, right? And I ask myself, how can I lead with an attitude of I'm only going to lead with the people that like me? It makes no sense. Um, I'm sure there are people that hate Walmart that still shop there. I'm sure there are people that hate Amazon that still shop there, um, or hate what Amazon represents, or hate what Walmart represents or supports. Um, Chick-fil-A has been very proactive, not lately, but over the years, about being uh, anti-gay, right? And not just that, they're like they close on Sundays, so uh, the whole religious observance thing, right? And teach their own, right? That's their decision. That's their thing. They, for years and years, by the way, they wouldn't set up a restaurant inside of Las Vegas because it's a gambling town, and that doesn't support their morals or beliefs or whatever. And I guess people in Vegas don't eat Chick-fil-A. Well, come to find out, as soon as they understood that Jesus, if he'd have owned Chick-fil-A, he would be serving everybody, even the people that didn't deserve it the most, right? By the religion, I guess. Um, I mean, think about that for a second, right? It's not necessarily a turn the other cheek, but it's to take care of people no matter who they are, right? And uh, we're all the same in that respect as well. When you look at it that way, and you see how many locations Chick-fil-A now has in Las Vegas over the last 5 years, 6 years, it's crazy. Chick-fil-A blew up over here, and it was expected because Chick-fil-A is a great sandwich place. There's no doubt about it. Great product, great quality. Um, Definitely from the south kind of a thing for me. Always been a big fan. At the same time, not a big fan of their politics, right? Or their beliefs. But do I not eat there? No, of course I eat there. It's great food. Nobody does it better than Chick-fil-A. I, I say that lightly. I'm sure there's somebody out there that'll do it better than them, but nobody at scale like that, and it's consistent, right? Um, that said, I mean, I'd be crazy to pass up on Chick-fil-A, as good a quality as it is, right? Same thing for Cracker Barrel. For years and years, they wanted to come in here, but they couldn't get a license, so it wasn't necessarily belief systems or anything. They felt like they weren't missing out on much of a market here for Cracker Barrel, which is crazy because I fucking love Cracker Barrel. Grew up on that shit. Sunday Cracker Barrel, man, let me tell you. Um, and lo and behold, as soon as they got around that, or got over that idea for a second, they started producing locations in Vegas. So anyway, just saying, two great restaurants that I guess, maybe underestimated the value of serving a market that maybe they felt wasn't as important to them for one reason or another. And they decided to be a little bit more open minded, a little bit more progressive, not like super progressive. Like you definitely haven't changed the owner's minds on where they come out on the religious side of things, or their beliefs about whether gay people have rights or not, right? That whole thing. Uh, Crazy, I know, but you haven't changed their mind, right? They're still going to think what they're going to think. Okay, but now they're serving uh, everybody, everybody. They're serving everybody, and that's to me that's a step in the right direction, you know. And if you believe in God, then that's what God would really want is for you to serve everybody, right? And treat each other fairly and treat each other well. So, um, again, how can I lead if I don't feel that way about everybody, right? And treat everybody in the same way that way. So anyway, that's where my head's at. That's where my heart's at. Why I do what I do. Now you've kind of seen a real world example of that. And you can evaluate now that I've taught you a little bit more about belief systems or made you more aware of that. Now you can go back and evaluate what belief systems I have of the many that govern what I just told you, right? And that'll really tell you where I'm at when you start evaluating that without overthinking. Don't burn yourself out, but spend a few minutes and think about that because it'll definitely help you with your own belief systems and perspectives and what you can do, right? So cool. I'm not seeing anybody in the chats or the excuse me in the waiting room. So I guess nobody has any questions they need help with live. I'm going to answer some questions here in the comments and then I'm going to bounce out of here because it's Christmas Eve. I don't want to keep you guys all day. There's clients to get, systems and processes to set up, family to hang out with, um, if family's in town. And if not, then family to hang out with. It's immediate family, right? I got a dog to go love on right now. It's Christmas Eve, right? So we'll definitely get to all those things here in a second. Uh, let's see. Sorry, laughing at the art comment there. It's okay if you don't want to be my friend. Rob says, or excuse me, Robert. I always call him Rob. Sorry about that, Robert. Robert says, William, I almost forgot. I was meaning to ask you about the first hire sales position one. Can you describe their responsibilities? I want to know what to include in the training videos for sales position one. Um, yeah, actually. So sales position one is gonna first half of their day is it's 4 hours, 4 hours, right? It's a full-time job. Don't try to hire part-time. I'm telling you right now, it's not a good idea for many, 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 many reasons. Do not hire position one until you can hire them full-time comfortably. Okay, 4 hours and 4 hours. The first 4 hours is going to be is typically going to be calling, right? Is going to be dialing out with a predictive dialer. And that's usually something like Prospect Boss, where they've got a 4-line predictive dialer. It's about $130 a month, something like that. Totally worth it because that person in 4 hours can reach a few hundred people, 400 dials in that at least in that 4 hour period. The second four, and we'll cover that in just a second. The second 4 hour period is data scraping. So um, grabbing the Google Maps contact extractor on a server, for example, a remote server, so that anybody can access that. That's staff, right? Anyway, um, and run scrapes for different cities, different locations, different locations, different verticals. Cities and locations are the same thing. So different verticals, different locations. Um, and stockpile those lists, right? They can also do things like set up the emails to send out and also learn the ringless voicemail voice broadcasting system and set up. So there's a lot to train them on that everything you do right now, you should be developing a training for, including things like ringless voicemail voice broadcasting setup, the customer service phone number to Dollar Central, who to speak to. Here's where the training videos are for Dollar Central's platform. Walk them through a couple times on Zoom, that kind of thing, till they get the hang of it. There's a lot to that. As far as responsibilities, again, first half of their day is designed for reaching out via predictive dialer, and they use the sales script. Actually, Rob, the same one that you started with originally, the other one, right? The lead specialist one is going to be the one you want to use, unless you want to try out the updated one. It wouldn't kill you, but yeah, one of those two. They use that to establish interest. When someone says yes, right? When someone says yes, I need more business right now, they don't ask any qualifying questions. They point them right to the closer. They pull them right into the closer. And if you don't have a closer hired yet, then you are the closer. So the call comes directly to you. It's transferred over, or the information is given, the name and the best number to reach them at. You give them a call within a couple of minutes, right? That's the process there. For position one and responsibilities, as far as KPIs, you don't have to worry about that yet. You're not hiring somebody yet, and you're a long ways off from that actually. But responsibility wise, that should make a lot of sense in terms of what they're responsible for, and what you should be building training for. There's a ton of stuff there, but pretty straightforward. All stuff that you already know how to do at that point, right? Which is that's why I say it's pretty straightforward. You just got to go back and record some of that, and I say some of it, record all of that, and then you're good to go. Art says people don't like the conditions in Apple factories or the various clothing lines, sweatshops, but that doesn't stop people from buying the latest fashion or iPhone. That's pretty good. Mohammed says, would like to take this opportunity to wish everyone a wonderful year ahead filled with peace and prosperity. God bless. Amen. I appreciate that message. Art also says, God bless. And, to each and every one of you, it's not just Christmas time that we take care of each other or think about each other, right? It's been a hell of a year, and even in the good years, we take care of each other. That's just how it is, how it needs to be. So I appreciate you guys each and every day, as if every day were Christmas, which actually is our topic tomorrow. We'll talk about how every day is Christmas and what that looks like. Because when every day is Christmas, things get interesting. That much I can tell you. John says, happy Christmas and the very best 2021 to everybody. Hope next year brings all you for yourself and their loved ones. Amen on that one as well. Cool. All right. Looks like we're good to go. I'll just say this. I'll say Merry Christmas. I'm not going to say end of the year yet. I know a lot of people like to lump those together, but they are days and days apart. We still got plenty of time left in this year. Let's make it count, right? And in that case, I will say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, depending on your beliefs and what you observe. And I hope that it's my hope that you have the best Christmas and holiday season you can have this year. And if you're not, then it's also my hope that you work hard now so that next year it is what you want, if not better than what you ever expected or dreamed of. So that said, I'll leave you guys to it. I'll let you get to it, get back to work, and enjoy your time with the family, of course, during the holidays as well. And we'll see you tomorrow, Christmas Day, at 11 a.m. Don't worry about attendance. I've got everybody covered. And I'll see you tomorrow, where we talk about, again, every day being Christmas and what that looks like and how it's an interesting way to live, what comes of it. I promise, mindset-wise, it's really interesting. So we'll get to that tomorrow on Christmas. And for now, I'll sign off and see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. All right. Bye for now, guys.
Cool. You folk. Back on my shit with a new advantage. I leave it up to you to settle the damage. Diamond, yeah, I know it's foreign to him. I came from the guts of rural Alabama. Steph Curry wrist, watch with the handle. Simple motives, gotta lead by example. Not too many make it out when they doubt. Never been about bailing off of my route. Rain gang, got the city HD. Hate to see my brother die every week. Numb to your vision. My life got me too fucked up. Disrespect to make a nigga go dumb. pillow talking while you nursing that bitch and turn you to a scrub. I let prices from the plug, Bay Shore, Ocean View, or win Adidas with the boots. Niggas out here slinging arbitrage, so the money really no excuse. Welcome to the realm.